Hey there. Thanks for clicking on another video. This is Monday, February 13th, I guess, 2024. 12th, 13th, somewhere around there. New England, Eastern Mass. Supposedly we're going to get 9 to 12 inches of snow tomorrow. That's a lot of snow for me. We have a fair amount of driveway, and I'm going to show you some of the ways that we can move it. I'm getting to the point that I really don't like using a shovel anymore. But first I'm going to get my shovel. I'll show you my trusty shovel that I use, and then I'll show you some of the property and how long you think it might take me. Well, there's my trusty snow shovel. It's getting pretty worn. Plastic's peeling off. Probably should sharpen this edge a little more, or buy another one. It's been through a lot. This, by the way, is not a how-to. None of mine are how-tos, none of my videos, because I'm not a professional at anything. This is really more informative. You might find some of the, without spilling the beans, some of the methods that I use to remove snow a little unique. They might give you ideas. They might make you think I'm crazy. But it's clearly not going to be the nuts and bolts of milling or using lathes or any of that stuff, repairing, modifying. I'm not into that today. Today is, what do we do about moving snow? 9 to 12 inches coming. So this is certainly the first thing I use, because when I come out of the garage, I've got to clean this to do anything else. And this driveway will take a little while. I'll show you the driveway. Well, that's a fair amount to shovel by hand. And, you know, it may not, you can never tell from looking at a video, but that is close to 200 feet of driveway to get up there. But that's not the worst of it. Huh. Just hang on. You'll see how long it would take me if I actually had to shovel all this. The road is 600 feet down my driveway on that side. And that's still not all of it. So we come up to this big bend here, and then we go back up to that intersection, which is where I was standing. That adds close to 200 feet. So 1,200 feet. And even then, that's not everything, because the driveway continues past my back door and goes around this huge piece of ledge and swings around to the front door, and that's probably another 200 or 300 feet. Now that isn't necessary to move snow to get out of the house. That's so people can come and go from the front door. But it's a lot of snow, and at 12 inches it's going to be tough. If the snow were light and fluffy and not too terribly deep, I've used my backpack leaf blower. The problem with a leaf blower is it tends to warm the air up quite a bit. So if you don't get a good start on the snow, you're turning it to mush before you can actually blow it off of anything. And with a small nozzle, You don't get very far in a hurry. Next step up is the trusty old real big 8-horse leaf blower. And it does a better job, except I guess I'm going to have to fix my pull cord here. It's wedged. I guess that's a project, so that won't be used in this snowstorm. So you can either open up the gate on the bottom. There's a gate down here so you can blow straight out, or you can blow to the side. Well, if you blow to the side, that means you're usually rolling through the snow to blow the snow off to the side. And if you try to blow it straight forward, well, you're almost always at an angle. So you're doing a lot of pushing and pulling and so forth. So those really aren't good snow removal devices. I have used them. I used that on my deck when we had really light snow, like a ½ an inch, and I just wanted to get rid of it. I've used both of these, but those are not really made for snow removal. Now we're getting into some motorized stuff that's a little bit bigger. This is a sidewalk sweeper. Picked it up, I think, for 50 bucks. Had to do some work. This is great in New England when you get heavy, wet, slushy snow that snow blowers hate because it plugs up their chutes, that it doesn't plow well, it leaves a big layer on the ground. So this comes in really handy. But you know what? There's no cab, no heat, no lights. So you're on the weather. But if you wait to the end of the storm, if it's a light storm, dress well, that's not a bad way to go. Well, that still isn't a great way to take care of 12 inches of snow that's coming. So then we go to, I'm going to spin around here. We come to my Terramite Model 2 backhoe loader. And yeah, with a bucket it works really well. But the problem is the bucket really isn't as wide as the machine, so it makes a mess when you're trying to plow with it. Maybe after the first pass, if you kind of angle it halfway across the bucket, it's all right, but it's not great. And again, well, this one doesn't have any ROPS, rollover protection system, doesn't have lights. It might have at one time. Sure doesn't have heat. And it's noisy. So now you have to wear earplugs under your wool cap just so you can use it. Still, it does the job. And it's fairly quick because you're plowing and not snow blowing. And this is the one I've done several videos on. I rebuilt, I had to rebuild the clutch inside. I rebuilt everything on the back. Rebuilt the brakes. Did quite a bit. Last year, and I did a video on this, is I outfitted it with a removable plow. And the plow is wide enough so that it's wider than the machine. This was an old beat up heavy plow. I put it on with basically 2 pins, one on each side, and then a chain just to keep it from, the chain here, I'm sorry, just to keep it from rolling off. And that's really great too. Now we're getting someplace. But you know, I'm still out in the weather. So by the way, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, share, whatever. Hopefully this is a little different. This simply tells you something about myself and the stuff I get into. So now we're going to go on to the good equipment. And for this, I'm going to set you up in the tripod. I have two sheds. And this is the shed of interest right now. And that is my main device for moving snow. I rebuilt this a couple of years ago. I didn't like the shape of the box. It had come straight up, so it left a big cavern up top for the snow to accumulate. So I put in this stuff here to get it closer. I put wings on, see if you can see them any place, like here, so that I don't get a solid piece here. Those bite into it pretty well. I threw out the old chute, made my own chute here. Made it a lot smoother. This has some really smooth non-stick stuff in it. So it worked pretty well this one storm we had. But we'll see what it's going to be like with 12 inches. In the past, I could only do about 3 inches at a whack. And it would just bog down. So what I'm going to do now, I've got counterweights on the back. I made this so that I could actually put a ball on it. I'm going to shut it down, check the oil, fill the water. Fill the gas. As you saw, it has wipers, it has lights, it has heat. That's another project I did quite a while ago. It's gasoline. I wish it was diesel. I like diesel better. I have one of these in diesel. I'm going to show you that in a bit. But I haven't used that probably 6 or 8 years anyway, because this has been my machine of choice. This is old. It's from the late 70s, early 80s. So I'm going to shut you off, do my maintenance, and then show you the other machine. So you can't really see it on the side of the engine hood, but this is a Groundsmaster 72. So, and this is a little bigger than the one I have in the basement. And I had my troubles with it. I had to get the generator rebuilt, replace the water pump, correct the hookup of the governor. It looks like someone had blended two engines together and didn't really understand governors and stuff. But that was several years ago when I first got it. You know, it's every year I improve it a little bit, and it just keeps going. It's a really nice machine. Well, I was going to uncover all this, but it runs basically the same as the other one. It's newer. This is a 217D, which makes it a diesel. They The shape of the snowblower is much better. That's what I ended up doing, is I modeled the other one off of this because this worked so well. But this is a kind of underpowered for doing snow, especially around here, which is unfortunate. But this machine, I've kept it pretty well. It's got good chains, it's got good tires. I actually found 2 spare front tires and a spare rear tire. Had to make a door handle, not a big deal. And you know, the controls are slightly different. These are flat, whereas the other ones are at an angle. But it's got very similar switches. The front and rear lights, the flasher, the directional for the chute, and the heat control is over here. So very similar. Gas tank fills in about the same spot. There. No, it's a Groundsmaster. They all have very similar designs. The biggest thing about this versus the other one is the PTO shaft is on this side. And in the 72, the PTO shaft is on this side. This has 2 arms that are parallel that lift straight up. Whereas the Groundsmaster has one that kind of hangs out the side at a 45 and clamps on, and it actually sticks out further than the frame of the snowblower, so you get a little snow in it. The other one is mostly gear driven, has a belt out to the auger, the same as this. Not a belt, it has a chain. The chain's on opposite sides. The chain on the other one is on this side. This had 3 belts on it, and they kept slipping and so forth, so I changed this over to a double chain in here. So you have to change that once a year. It gets rusty, stretches, you know, the joints start falling apart. But other than that, this is a nice machine. This runs pretty well. And maybe it's the other one that has the big belt. I don't see the big belt on this one. So anyway, unless it's behind this guard here, where that 45, that gearbox, that 45 gearbox is. So, and I did not modify this auger with those pieces to chew into the snow, because this is, when we get a decent snow, I'm going to put this out for sale, show how it works, and get rid of it. I just don't need 2 of them. So now we will wait until tomorrow and see just what the snow is that's coming. And perhaps I'll show you the other one in action. That would be cool. So until then, I did about 10 feet. That's enough for me to get my Toro up here. This is heart attack snow or back break snow, whatever you want to call it. Maybe 2 inches deep. The bottom inch is soaked with the rain. We're at 32 degrees, heading into the evening. Big cold front coming down, so whatever I just did is going to turn to a sheet of ice. So that's what you get. So anyway, onward. We'll see what happens when I start up the Toro. I've decided I'm going to try my new plow blade on the Terramite. The Terramite doesn't like it. It's heavy. And I might actually have a soft tire here. Yeah, I guess I'll have to put some air in the tires first. So no wonder it was pulling to the right. And then I'll see if we plow. That went pretty well, considering I didn't use any. I forgot to put my winter tires on or my snow chains. I have both. I used neither. Got to figure out the attack angle on the blade. I think I had it too upright at first, but this looks pretty good, and the driveway itself is pretty good. The reason I like a snowblower is it leaves a nice clean edge on the side of the driveway. This is not what you would call a clean edge with piles of snow like this. And I didn't feel like getting over here. It's certainly wide enough for a car now. And yep, you have to leave a little on each side. But that's all right. It'll probably melt, even though we're supposed to get into the high teens tonight and maybe not make freezing tomorrow, so we'll see. I have a leak. I see all kinds of oil drops. So now I'm going to try the snowblower. Now I started this yesterday, so it shouldn't take much to get going. It's got an electric fuel pump. I think it has an accelerator pump inside the carb. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that started right up. Alright. I'll bring you back when I get close to some snow. That's done, except for the cleanup, which is a pain in the neck, because I'm not going to reach in the auger. I actually think this went quicker with the snowblower, and I always thought the snowblower was slow. And it certainly does a better job. That was with the snowblower. Nice clean edges, went around the front. No lumps on the sides. And I didn't even turn on the heat or the wipers or the lights, which I have. It's an enclosed cab where the termite isn't. So I don't know how much that plow and my termite's gonna get used. But that's for another day. So here's our 9 to 12 inch snowstorm. Haha. I guess this is the lesser of two evils. So if you stuck it out to the end, thanks for watching. Let's see what the 4 words for the mantra are. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Yeah, if you want to, go right ahead. I don't care about most of them. Comments would be nice. I think comments I appreciate more than any of the others, since I'm not doing this to make money or, oh, I don't know, get a bunch of followers. I don't care about that. But I do enjoy getting feedback on things that I may have done wrong or differently. So we'll post this and see how it goes. And I think today is Tuesday, supposedly the end of the week. My bearing for the lister's coming in. I'll put that back together. I have to go get some plastic gauge. It's the connecting rod bearing, so I'm going to make sure that's absolutely as square as I can make it. I have to clean that journal a little bit, but I have some tricks for getting bearing journals as clean as possible. And I'll mic it up, but if it's anywhere near close, it's going to stay. I'm not into putting money into it at this point. So, all right, till next time, thanks again.